Well, this is part one of a two-part series building a hammer or a wooden mallet in order to match a wooden mallet that I had that had a crack in the handle. I had some half-inch glue-ups made of hickory, and I'm just going to stack 6 of those together and make a sandwich of glue-ups out of hickory. And the wood I had it for nothing. I just made a stack, glued it up, squeezed it tight, got it a little bit close to the size it needed to be in the lathe, and found the centers, just basically kind of dividing the stack in half. This way I would end up with a seam that runs right down the middle of the handle. And so I just looked for the center left and right, and of course I'm using the seam of 3 pieces because it's a 6-piece stack as my center up and down. So I just found my 2 centers, located those with an awl, mounted it on the lathe. Here's my blank, and then I'm just going to turn this down into a circle or into a cylinder. I'm going to try to match the size, the diameter, the length, the stripes, everything of the old hammer. It's just a hammer I liked. I've had it for a long time. I'm just trying to replace it basically with something that will be a little more durable, being that it is laminated and that it is made of hickory. So here I've got it just about round already, squaring up both edges, just balancing it out a little bit. I'm going to be holding the head of the existing mallet next to it in order to get dimensions. Again, I wanted these 2 to match, so I'm using my calipers to get the diameter to match my existing hammer head. And once I've got that turned down to the right diameter, I will square up the ends left and right to match the width of the existing wooden mallet. You'll see here in a minute I'll hold that mallet head up against it in order to mark my length. I've just done that with a pencil. Just square those down, and that allows me to get an adjustment to the exact diameter. And I just continue using the calipers to get it closer and closer until I've matched my mallet head diameter. Continue to take those 2 ends down. I use some sandpaper on a block because it's a straight cylinder. I wanted it to be very straight. I made some marks. You notice that existing mallet head had some grooves in it. I've not only made some grooves using my pointed tool, but I'm also going to use some guitar string and burn some black lines in it again. I kind of like the looks of this. It'll sort of match the other handle, and those stripes will be on either side of the hole where the handle goes into the head. So there you have a pretty finished look, taking some rough paper to it and then some finer paper to it using this sanding pad on my drill. It's really coming out nice and smooth and very good looking. Just take a little bit finer sandpaper now on that same attachment to the drill, soften those edges a little bit, and get just a very nice smooth finish out of that hickory. Continue to bring those ends down to where I'll just have a little bit to remove with a saw when I'm done. And then I'm putting some shellac on it, spinning it because it's round so it spins well. Use some fine paper to kind of take the fuzz off. Use a handful of sawdust to burnish it. Put some wax on it, again burnish that in, and I get a nice finish. Now I'm going to drill the hole, and you see I put a tiny pencil line. You can see it on the end of the hammerhead, and I'm holding it in my wooden clamp, and it's sitting on some wooden blocks. I did this because I wanted to get a straight cut I wanted that drill hole to be in the dead center of the head. So I built a little mock-up here. You can see the pencil line on the hammerhead. I used a square to make sure that hammerhead was dead center and pointing straight up and down. I already know that my drill press drills at 90 degrees to the table, and so I was able to drill a perfectly straight hole, dead center in the head, that would match my 7/8 inch dowel in the handle. And there they are. They fit super tight, super nice. And there's the finished mallet. Stay tuned for part 2, where I build the handle with offset turning. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.